239,000 kilometers of road network within this country. The national government manages about 57,000, out of which Kenya has 24,000. From the 24,000, about half of that is paved. The other half is not paved. And therefore, we are managing that through construction of new roads. We are managing that through maintenance. We are managing that through rehabilitation. There's quite a lot of work going on in this country to ensure that those roads serve us as a country and also our regional partners within the East African community. So that is how we are doing it. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many critical infrastructural projects that are being undertaken by Kenya. You know, from Nairobi, Rironi, Mau Summit to Mombasa Road to Thika Road. Which roads for you stands out as a proud moment for Kenya?
For Kenya, I think the entire corridor from Mombasa all the way to Malaba through Eldoret stands out as one of our most important corridors, because that is the corridor which also serves the region. And therefore, when you look at the traffic volumes along that corridor alone, it tells you that we need to put a lot of effort in order to ensure that that road remains motorable all the time. It is also safe for traffic and the road users. And that is why the government is dualling the section of the road between Nairobi to Mau Summit through a PPP arrangement. And we are also doing studies now to be able to extend that dualling all the way to Malaba border, because we realize that for us to serve this country and the wider East African community, we need to ensure that that road is open, it is safe, and also motorable all the time. We also have the other corridor between Nairobi through Isiolo to Mandera, and also through Isiolo to Moyale. That is also serving our partners in Ethiopia, also in Somalia. And you know of the program that is currently ongoing between Isiolo to Mandera, the 750 kilometers, which is under construction. That will now open up the northern part of Kenya, particularly to Ethiopia and Somalia. We have already completed the section between Eldoret through Lokichar to Natapal, the border, South Sudan. And we're waiting for our counterparts from South Sudan to also be able to open up the section between Nakodo, all the way to Juba. That will serve now the entirety of South Sudan without having to go through Malaba, through Nimule, then to Juba. So those are our major corridors, which we consider very important.
200 trucks per day. I know the South Sudanese president, Salva Kiir, has said that they are mobilizing resources so that they can start construction of that section before the end of this year. Are you in talks with the South Sudanese authorities, and how are you going to work this out? Are you involved in offering what we call expertise in road management and construction?
What I know is that there is a regional body called the Northern Corridor Transit and Transport Coordination Authority, which is based in Mombasa here. It is supposed to coordinate activities and enable trade between Kenya and the northern part of Uganda to DRC to South Sudan. So that is a body that is being engaged at the moment to see how we can be able to sort out the issues of the roads and leave out the boundary issues. I think, as I told you, that is the language we are talking now. Forget about the boundaries, let other players come and deal with the boundary, but for us, handle the issues of the roads. So there has been discussions with that body, the regional body, on how we can be able to complete our 11 kilometers, okay? Then they can do the other part of their section. The total length from Nadabal to Juba is about 350 kilometers, and that is still outstanding. And if we can be able to resolve that as fast as possible, then the better for everybody. Yeah.
Now the road that leads to Ethiopia, do you want to give us a status update?
The road to Ethiopia through Marsabit, ending at Moyale, is now open. It is in a very good state. It was completed recently, not much. As nothing bad has happened at all. It is still okay, intact. Also the other part, I think from Moyale now towards Ethiopia, it's okay, it's open. And that is why you realized, you might have heard last year, the Ethiopians imported their fertilizer through the port of Lamu, and they joined the road through Moyale to be able to join to their country. So the road is in a good state. What is actually remaining for us is the lapsed corridor between now Lamu to Isiolo. If we open that, then I think the port of Lamu is going to be busy to be able to take cargo all the way to...
And of course, I mean, you know, that occasion in itself was very significant because, you know, when you look at the strategic importance of Lamu port was supposed to serve that part of the region. And now Ethiopia is importing, or it managed to import fertilizer through the Lamu port. But the section between Lamu and Isiolo?
Yeah, Lamu
is not yet done.
It is ongoing.
It is ongoing.
It's ongoing, yes.
What's the completion percent rate?
There's already a contractor dealing with both sections. Lamu to Garissa has one contractor, and then Garissa to Isiolo has another contractor. On the section between Lamu and Garissa, there are 250 kilometers. I think we are at around 100 kilometers today of tarmac. Okay, we're remaining with 150. I think we are on course. Those are some of the projects we are stalled, but with the government selling of the 7 shillings through securitization, we're able to bring back that contractor to site, and now it's on course to finishing the project probably by next year. Yeah, we are pushing very hard. The second between Garissa and Isiolo doesn't have a lot of issues. It's ongoing, and we are hoping that before the end of next year, the close of next year, we should be able to complete that section of the road. It is very important for us because it also opens up the part of the lapsed corridor, which is headed towards Lokichara in Turkana.
So the two sections, your plan is to complete them by the end of 2027?
Yeah, end of 2027, yes.
Since you opened up that corridor to traffic, what has been the socio-economic impact on the locals?
There has been quite some heightened activity along that section. There is a lot of growth of the small towns, which are almost told at the beginning, and there's quite some activity, a lot of activities around that area. Although we still have security concerns along the same stretch, we are being assisted by KDF to manage the security situations, so that the employees of the company and our own supervision teams can be able to work without problems. There may be a few hiccups here and there, but we are managing. Yes.
You know, as part of your social responsibility as an agency, you are supposed to put up schools, health centers, as well as security posts. Has this happened?
I think for that particular corridor, we have not factored in those social amenities, because our initial target was to open up the road first, because we will not even get in. You remember, we have had security agencies operating in layers. There's the inner layer, there's the outer layer, the second layer, I think a third layer, just to ensure that those working are safe. So our initial target was to open up the road, improve its tarmac standards, so that we could go back and now look at the socio-economic infrastructure. So in terms of the current contract, we don't have the socio-economic infrastructure in place.
Is it something you're
for that corridor, yeah. But that's something we're looking at. We will still go back and now try to assist the communities come up with those socio-economic infrastructure, because it was closed for a very long time. We now need to open it up so that we can have more schools, more police stations, people accessing health facilities, and such like facilities.
Yeah. And the section between now Mombasa and Mariakani?
Yes.
I know it has been under construction, and you're looking at about, are they 40 kilometers?
Yes.
When is it going to be open to traffic, the entire stretch?
That road is almost complete. The second between Mombasa to Kwajomvu, that was under contract number 1. Basically, we are almost through with that section. We are remaining with a few service lanes and other things. But the main corridor is completed and handed over to the government. The section between, around Kwajomvu area, there was a delay in land compensation. There was a company there producing oxygen. It's called Synergy. which had taken time to relocate their own facilities to somewhere in Mariakani. They have now moved out. I think their last date was 22nd of March this year. So the whole of that area, we can now be able to complete what was outstanding as service roads. The second between Kwajomvu to Mariakani, which was under Lot 2 of that contract, is actually ongoing. We only have 3 seconds remaining. We have done, out of the 30 kilometers, we've been able to complete 20. We're only remaining with 10 kilometers. The 10 kilometers, 1 second is around Bonje, that is the SIP end, around Mazera's town, and also in Mariakani town. We have had delays with the National Land Commission in terms of compensating the people around that area. But they have all the money with them. We paid all the PAPs through the Land Commission. I think there have been challenges of ownership of land, challenges in terms of succession issues, and that is being sorted. So we hope that within the shortest time possible, the contractor can be given the right of way to be able to work. But we are on course, and the contractor is on site. Yeah.
What about the much talked about Nairobi-Mombasa highway? I mean, I know this is going to be big. I know the president has pronounced himself on this, that he would really want to see this project up and running. The construction before the end of this year. Are you working on this?
Yeah, it is something we're working on. Remember, there have been proposals from at least 2 concessionaires who wanted to upgrade that road to dual-link from Mombasa to Nairobi. All of them have gone through a process, both within Kenya and Treasury through the PPP Directorate, and those proposals were not favorable to government, and therefore they were abandoned. They were called privately initiated investment proposals. Both of them did not go through, and they were rejected by the PPP Directorate in the National Treasury. Now we are opening it up competition. What it means is that we will advertise, and all the concessionaires who are willing to participate can participate. Initially, it was closed a bit to those one bid at a time, but now we are opening it up. I think some 2 weeks ago there was an advert calling for some transaction advisor from the PPP Directorate, and we hope that once that consultant comes on board, then we can take up that project from there. But it's something in progress.
I mean, there was a lot of hopes that finally, after many years of delays, the PIP that was presented by Ushahidi, was finally going to take it up and run with it. What was the challenge with this? Was it a question of pricing?
No, it was not a question of pricing. Under these PPP arrangements, you need to look beyond the pricing. You need to look at what is favorable to government, what is favorable to the wananchi who are going to use the road, how the contractor is prepared to be able to undertake the project, how the proponent has been able to get the investment capital to be able to put on the road. And those are things we evaluate before accepting a PIP from any proponent. And in this particular case, it did not comply with all those requirements. So we have told them that we have no problem with their proposal, but they need to go and resubmit afresh, factoring in now issues of equity, issues of support from financiers and other things which were not there. And the first proposal was on a green field. That means starting a new project in an area which was totally new. The second proposal was on the brown field, working on the corridor which is actually existing. But there were still other challenges which that proposal did not address, and therefore we had to tell them to go and repackage again. Probably they are still interested, they can come back. But for now, their proposal has been abandoned. Yeah.
And from where you see it, I mean, when you look at, the idea of opening up the concessionaire to a competitive process vis-a-vis a PIP, Which model do you think would really open up that stretch faster than the other?
We feel that opening it up to competition is a good idea because at the end of the day,
it offers more value for
more value for money. We'll get value for money with opening up.
Get the job done faster.
Yeah, it will.
Because of the tendering processes and.
It's not about tendering. You know, it will be subjected to the same process. Even if it was privately submitted or open to competition, it will still be subjected to the same process. So there's no advantage in having one bidder submit their bids and the other one where you're opening up to very many people. So as Kenya, I think we feel that opening it up gives us value for money.
Very well. And are you working within some time frames that we expect the tenders to go out this time, tender submissions, evaluation and all that, and break ground for the construction of the Nairobi-Mombasa highways by this time? Do we have any time frame?
For now, we have advertised for a consultant service to give us, to get a transaction advisor to be able to come up with the timelines and the activities leading to breaking ground. So once the consultant is on board, then we can talk about now the remaining steps before we get a contractor on the board, on the ground. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But is it feasible to say that we can have, or we may start the construction of Nairobi-Mombasa highway before the end of this year?
Yes, that is still feasible. Once we have the consultant on board, I think we can work towards achieving that milestone of having the contractor before the end of the financial year. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's also talk about the ongoing enhancement of the lower deck of Mombasa Road. I know this is a project that the President is very interested in because it has been an ISO for many years. How far are we in terms of implementation?
I think we are on course. We have a very strong contractor in the name of KBC, who started work around December of last year. We have now mapped out the entire road of about 27 kilometers, split it into 16 sections. And 16 sections, yeah. And in each of those sections, there are activities now which are ongoing. If you look at the section around the airport, there is quite some work which is going on the NMT, the footpaths where people walk between the end of the, is it called what? That place where the SGR, not the SGR, the toll booths, just down there, all the way to where we have the junction to pipeline. There's a lot of work going on. If you look at around Westlands also, we are doing some milling, removing the old tarmac and replacing with new AC. And also within town, there are quite some activities going on. We want to use this particular contract to address the drainage problems along the lower road. You realize that there's been a lot of flooding, particularly from the upper deck. And therefore, we want to use this particular opportunity and this particular contract to address those challenges of drainage and flooding on the lower road. Yeah.
And I like the fact that you're bringing in the issue of flooding, which has been a big challenge. And you have a lot of storm water from the upper deck, you know, dumping a lot of water on the lower deck, which is causing problems, especially around the stretch between Nyayo House and University Way. How are you addressing this? And who should address this? Is it the operator of the upper deck, or is it Kenha?
I think in the initial packaging of the expressway, there was, I would say that we did not package that properly, because we should have addressed the drainage problems from the upper road to the lower road. But now that we have the same contractor, the KBC, who was the one constructing the expressway, we have him on the lower road now, doing for us the landscaping, beautification, drainage works on the lower road. He should be able to address those challenges of stormwater from the upper deck. So we're confident that this particular contract should be able to address all those.
Is it part of the enhancement package?
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. It is part of it. We need to address stormwater from the upper road, hitting on our lower road and causing a lot of flooding.
What is the plan? How do you plan to or how do you expect the contractor to address and of course ensure that water is evacuated? Are you working on culvert boxes? Are you
on the lower road? We are thinking of having additional box culverts, having additional pipe culverts, and also channeling the water to those culverts, because probably when there is a lot of flooding, the water from the deck does not find its way to the drain. So that is what we're trying to address using this particular contract, channeling all the water to the drains and enhancing those drains to be able to carry more storm water.
And then the other challenge comes, so once you evacuate your water from the highway into the box culverts, where are you going to take this water to?
We are working very closely with the county government of Nairobi, so that even as we do, as we remove the stormwater from the main road, we should be able to channel that water to the main stormwater drain owned by and maintained by the county government of Nairobi.
Do we have one?
We do have. We do have. You know, most of these stormwater drains are silted actually. It's not a question of not having them. Probably a little issue with capacity, but then they are there. Probably the main challenge has been maintaining them to the extent that they are open.
So there is desilting that is needed.
Yes, that is needed. And you realize that most of the stormwater from the upper side normally carry a lot of plastics. Our Nairobi Dam is almost clogged because of those plastics. So if we can be able to handle the issue of plastics and from our drains, then we should be able to sort out the problem. So we are working very closely with the county government of Nairobi to be able to look at issues drainage within Nairobi and also along our major routes.
So once the enhancement of that stretch between JKIA to ABC Waiyaki Place is done, can you paint a picture for us, how it's going to look like?
We want to restore the city of Nairobi to what people used to call the old glory.
The green city.
The green city, yeah. Part of the activities we are doing is also putting in the greens within those areas, improving the lighting, particularly along that stage of the road, because we realize that without lighting, without greening.
So this is security lighting?
Security lighting, yes. Okay. We're also doing a lot of tree planting so that it's green. You can relax there when you're not in a hurry. You can get a place to be able to relax as you wait for probably your matatu or whatever it is. So we are doing a lot of activities. This particular contract carries so much in terms of the number of activities which are being done. And we are very clear in our minds on what the end product should be. And we're working towards that. We hope that once we complete, I think in about 1 year, you should be able to see a totally different picture of what you're seeing today.
And of course, before the construction of the Nairobi Expressway, we used to have traffic signals, on major roundabouts. For example, the University Way, the Westlands roundabout. We used to have signals around Nyayo Stadium. Are you also working on the signalization of these junctions?
Yeah, it is part of the activities we are carrying out together with KURA, Kenya Urban Roads Authority. So it's not only about the junctions within this particular highway. It is the junctions, all the other junctions within Nairobi. And I think there is a lot of activities going on, either by Kenya, either by KURA, to restore traffic lights within Nairobi. You realize that the element of the component of vandalism is also very high. I think that's an issue we should be able to address as Kenyans and ask ourselves, what is it that we require on our roads? Do we want to live in a scenario where we don't have the lights, or are we vandalizing the furniture on our roads? And I think working together with the counties, the KURA and ourselves, we should be able to achieve what we want for this city.
Of course, the issue of vandalism has always been a big challenge. It's not just for you, even for county governments, even for national governments. And there is a model that seems like it's working, and especially around the SGR, whereby the vandalization of SGR infrastructure, was declared a national economic crime. Should we go ahead and declare any vandalism around any high infrastructure a national crime?
Maybe that is the direction you should take, so that people can see how serious this issue is. And I think that should also go towards banning scrap metal within this country. Because where do we find this vandalism leading to? It is getting metallic items from our roads to go and sell to other vendors as scrap metal. So we should have very punitive terms for those who are selling metallic signages and other furniture from our roads, so that we kind of bar them, try to stop them from going that direction. And it's only within Nairobi, it's all over the country. And that is why we get the blame that we are not doing signages and other things within our roads. But the problem is beyond us. You put a sign today, in 2 days you don't have the sign there. You can look at what is happening even along our southern bypass. At night it's very dark, not because we did not have the lights there, but because those poles were vandalized and people sold them as scrap. So we should go beyond looking at what is happening on the roads, to also criminalizing on the trade itself, so that we have more punitive terms.
Mm-hmm. I know in the past, Kenha was having conversation with the Ministry of Interior to establish a National Critical Infrastructure Police unit. Is this an idea that as an agency you are still entertaining?
Yes, that is the direction we are still looking at, and we're discussing with the National Police Service to see whether we can set up a unit specifically for our roads, because we have one unit which is guarding government buildings, but we need one which is going to patrol our roads, so that issues criminal within our roads can be sorted out much faster. Where are you in terms of that? No, the discussions are still ongoing. I really don't want to commit in terms of timelines, but those are discussions which are still ongoing. Yeah.
Let's also talk about Thika Highway. The president has also talked about this. He wants an expressway model to be constructed along that stretch. Where are we in terms of rollout?
I'm aware that there are about three proponents who are doing traffic studies at the moment on Thika Highway, with the aim of submitting a PIIP to be considered by our committees and also Treasury in getting a proponent to be able to contract for us the expressway. I know the president has committed, and he has given timelines, and we are working towards those timelines. So we hope that if they can be able to complete their studies much faster, we should be able to evaluate and get a proponent within the shortest time possible.
Mm-hmm. But when you look at Thika Highway, does it make any commercial case for a Nairobi Expressway kind of a model?
In terms of being bankable, yes. That is, yes, a bankable project. You can imagine the kind of traffic we have along that road. Probably in terms of about 140,000 vehicles per day. It is to me, it is a very bankable project, and I hope that the traffic studies being undertaken by those prospective proponents will show that.
And when you look at the entire stretch of Thika Highway, the problem has always been the Pangani Loop, whereby you have about, 6-8 lanes, converging in one area, which is about 2 or 3 lanes, creating a huge gridlock. Is there a plan to re-engineer that section of the highway so that you can have smooth flow of traffic?
Well, I think in 2 weeks ago, a contract was being signed by Kura and a company called Sina Hydro to be able to improve the road between Muthaiga roundabout through Kiambu to Ndumberi. That contract also has the other section of the road to Pangani. So it will be starting from Pangani through Muthaiga, but roundabout all the way to Kiambu. It will sort out that problem of congestion within that area.
So the contract that was signed by Kura was not for Pangani, was not for Muthaiga to Dumberi. So it's also going to touch on a little bit of your Pangani. Yeah. So that section is going to be done by Kura.
It's going to be addressed, yeah, through this particular contract of Kura. You see, this is a whole government approach. The road is under Kenya. It's a Kenya road, but because negotiations were started through Kura and the others, we work as one government. So the particular problem of Pangani section, Muthaiga roundabout, is going to be addressed through this particular contract. Yeah.
Once it is completed, how do we expect it to look like? Are you looking at the option of a viaduct, an underpass, or?
I think the detailed designs are currently ongoing. We are part of our teams are there with Kura, looking at the designs. So let's wait for the designs to come out, so then we can be able to definitely give a response to what you're asking.
And also talking about Thika Road, a brilliant project, undertaken by Kenha again. And I know a number of countries within the region and without, they have been studying that model to see how it can be implemented back home. But there has been a challenge with vandalism, and we have just talked about these. Even as we wait for other interventions to be put in place by the national government, do we have any ring fencing mechanism that we can ensure that this doesn't happen as frequently as it does?
That is something we are also bothered with. This component of vandalism, it is really impacting very negatively on what we do on our roads. And as I told you now, we are very advanced with our negotiations with the National Police Service, so that we can get a dedicated team of policemen to be able to patrol. In the meantime, we're also adopting technology. We're trying to move away from metallic road furniture to semi-plastic, so that there's no value in vandalizing a semi-plastic pole or something like that. You move away from high-value metallic furniture to semi-plastic furniture, so that they're not vandalized. But this is a Kenyan thing. We need to, I think, through public participation, through education or sensitization, we need to tell them why it is important to avoid vandalizing our furniture on the roads.
Let's also talk about the strategic plan 2023 to 2028. You're looking at a plan to construct about 500 kilometers?
Yes.
Within that period of time. And with Exchequer funding cuts, you are looking at spending about 60 billion shillings every year on maintenance. You're only getting 20. How are you going to achieve it? To see this is like a spanner being thrown into the works.
Yeah, money can never be enough. You need to, every year, work within what you have. But, the government has just come up with a National Infrastructure Fund, which we hope will uptake some of the programs which we have under our strategic plan, particularly on dualling of the roads. The President had made it clear that within the next few years, 2,500 kilometers of roads will be dualed. The large chunk of those roads will come from the Kenya network. Also upgrading another 28,000 kilometers of roads. A large portion of those kilometers will come from the Kenya network. And we hope that apart from the Exchequer, if we have the National Infrastructure Fund, you should be able to uptake some of the programs that we have, so that we still can be able to achieve what we wanted to achieve, even when you don't get enough money from the Exchequer.
So with a budget demand of about 60 billion shillings with an allocation of 20 billion shillings, how is this impacting on the proper maintenance of key trunk roads in Kenya?
Just like you have said, we have a backlog of maintenance programs which have not been implemented over the years. And if we need about 60 billion shillings every year, and we can only get 20, then we need to be very strategic in our planning process, to the extent that we only address the very critical areas and try to preserve what we have. As I told you, if we have about 12,000 kilometers of paved network, the cost of maintenance is quite high on a paved network than on other roads. And therefore, even as we try to maintain the roads at about 20 billion annually, we also try to come up with innovative ways of maintenance. We can have our own source revenues through the assets that we have. We can also look at upgrading some of the roads through PPPs, which will save us on the maintenance component. And that is a long-term plan in which we're trying to work around the clock to be able to see whether we can have funding outside the exchequer or the RMLF to be able to maintain the roads. But again, we have the other challenge which is coming up now. We will not have to rely on RMLF alone. We are moving away to e-mobility. And we need to think outside the box to see how we can be able to generate money for maintaining the roads, because money from RMLF may then be reduced as we move away from, towards e-mobility. Yeah.
Very well. You know, before I let you go, I know there's somebody watching this program and they must be asking themselves, they have a road, I don't know where, passing around their town. It is in a bad state. They expect it to be done. It is not being done. What is your message to these people?
The message to the people in those areas where we have not, where we are not there at the moment, is that we are coming there. You remember that in the last 5 or so years, there was a lot of one cry about the stalled projects in this country. But then last year, the government came up with a securitization program where we sold off the 7 shillings and paid off the pending bills of about 175 billion Kenyan shillings. And therefore, at the moment as we talk, all the contractors who had moved out of site are back on site. They are working. You look across the country, you will find that Kenya is almost becoming a construction site at the moment. All parts of this country have contractors working. So let that person in the villages or in the towns or wherever they are have hope that we will be there.
Very well. Very good. Anything else we need to hear from you?
No, just to assure Kenyans that we are on course to completing all our stalled projects. We are pushing those contractors to be able to deliver, because it's no longer a question about the budgets. It's a question about progress. Because when the contractors submit their certificates, they are paid within 3 months. And like I can tell Kenyans, for example, that all certificates due to contractors up to December 2025 have been cleared. The government does not owe a single coin to these contractors up to December 2025. Our CS has given commitment that within the next 2 weeks, all the certificates up to March 31st of March 2026 will be cleared. So it's not a question about of money, of funding being available. It's a question of the contractors giving us progress, submitting certificates for payment. So that is where we are today. And Kenyans should be assured that we are pushing these contractors to be able to deliver within the shortest time possible.
Engineer, thank you very much. And of course, we wish you all the best at Kenha. Very good. I mean, you agree with me, it's a tough balancing act. You're ensuring that critical roads are maintained, they are constructed, and of course, ensuring that there is enough budget to do all these, despite competing interests at the national level. We've been talking to Engineer Luke Kimeli, the Director General at Kenya National Highways Authority, giving us a status update on various projects that are being undertaken by the agency. And of course, you have heard it from him. My name is O'Brien Kimani. You've been watching Inside Government. Thank you for your time.
Lights on, volume up. This is where stories come alive. From local drama that hits close to home
alinivamia akiwa na vijana wengine wawili.
Toka nje. Hii nyumba yako. Yote ni porojo.
to international series everyone's talking about. Stories that pull you in. Characters you won't forget.
Stop complaining and just get out of here. Go now. Go, go.
We turn up the volume with music that moves, showcases rising stars, and bring the beat straight to your living room. And when it's time to talk, we don't hold back.
How is everything going?
Real conversations, big personalities, the issues, the loves, the moment everyone's debating the next day. Every show, every night, different voices, one destination. This is television that feels alive, unpredictable, and missable.
Chess is a game that needs focus and your mind. This is a king, a queen, a bishop, and a knight.
In today's story, we